1. The dorm room that changed the world. Imagine being a college student. You're sitting in a small dorm room with an old laptop. While others are thinking about parties or homework, you're dreaming of building something that can connect every human being on the planet. What if I told you that one young man, just 19 years old, did exactly that? His name is Mark Zuckerberg, and from a single room in Harvard University, he launched a website that would change the way billions of people live, talk, share, and think. This is not just a story about a website. This is a story about vision, courage, and a young man who believed he could build something that would bring the world closer together. And if he could do it, maybe you can too. 2. Introduction to Mark Zuckerberg. Who is Mark Zuckerberg? You may know him as the founder of Facebook, now known as Meta, but he is much more than that. He's an entrepreneur, a programming genius, a visionary, and one of the youngest billionaires in history. He's been praised, criticized, challenged, and celebrated. But above all, he's someone who saw a problem and decided to solve it with technology. In this documentary, we'll follow Mark's journey from a quiet boy in New York to one of the most powerful tech leaders on Earth. And you'll see how a dream, mixed with hard work and bold decisions, can create a global revolution. 3. Early life and family background. Mark Elliott Zuckerberg was born on May 14, 1984, in White Plains, New York, into a comfortable and supportive Jewish family. His father, Edward Zuckerberg, was a dentist. His mother, Karen, was a psychiatrist. From a young age, Mark was surrounded by books, computers, and curiosity. He grew up in a town called Dobbs Ferry, and from the beginning, he was different. While other kids played sports or watched cartoons, Mark was learning how computers work. 4. Childhood interests and talents. At just 12 years old, Mark created his own messaging software called ZuckNet, which helped his dad communicate with the dental office from their home. Imagine that, building a messaging system at 12. He wasn't just smart, he was obsessed with learning. He loved coding, math, science, and especially solving problems. And even though he wasn't always the most social or outgoing child, he had a sharp mind and a quiet confidence. He also enjoyed playing video games and learning how they were made. That curiosity later helped him create things the world had never seen before. 5. School life and achievements. Mark's academic journey was full of awards. He first attended Ardsley High School and then transferred to Phillips Exeter Academy, one of the best prep schools in America. There, he studied Latin, won prizes in science and math, and even became the captain of the fencing team. But his love for programming continued to grow. He built music software called Synapse, which used artificial intelligence to learn your music taste. Tech giants like Microsoft and AOL offered to buy it, and even hire Mark, while he was still in high school. But he said no. He wanted to do something bigger, something that could impact the world. 6. Harvard years, the turning point. In 2002, Mark joined Harvard University. He was known as the computer genius on campus. While others were partying, he was building apps and tools that made student life easier. One day, he created FaceMash, a website that compared students' photos. It went viral, but also got him into trouble with the university. Still, that moment made one thing clear. Zuckerberg had the power to attract attention, and he knew how to build things people wanted to use. 7. The birth of the Facebook. In February 2004, from his Harvard dorm room, Mark launched a simple website with his friends. It was called thefacebook.com. The idea? A digital version of a college Facebook, where students could create profiles, add friends, and connect. Within 24 hours, hundreds of students joined. Within a month, thousands were using it. The idea exploded, and Mark decided to go all in. 8. The legal battles, Winklevoss twins and Eduardo Saverin. With great success came great conflict. Soon after launching Facebook, Mark was accused by Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, along with Divya Narendra, 3 Harvard seniors who claimed Mark stole their idea for a social network called Harvard Connection. This led to a long legal battle. Eventually, they reached a settlement worth $65 million, but the case followed Mark for years. At the same time, he had a falling out with one of his close friends and Facebook co-founder, Eduardo Saverin. Eduardo had helped fund the early days of Facebook, but as the company grew, tensions grew too. Mark diluted Eduardo's shares, essentially pushing him out of the company. Eduardo sued and won. These events were later dramatized in the movie The Social Network, showing the darker, more competitive side of Mark's journey. 9. Moving to Silicon Valley. In the summer of 2004, Mark and his team moved to Palo Alto, California, the heart of the tech world. They rented a small house, turned it into a coding base, and focused all their energy on expanding Facebook. That summer, they met their first big investor, Peter Thiel, co-founder of PayPal. He invested $500,000, which helped them grow fast. Mark dropped out of Harvard and decided to chase his dream full-time. A risky move, but one that changed his life and the world. 10. Growth and global expansion of Facebook didn't stay just in colleges. After conquering Ivy League schools, they opened the platform to other universities, high schools, and eventually, the entire world. By 2006, anyone with an email could join. And by 2012, Facebook had over 1 billion users. It became the place where people shared birthdays, news, photos, and memories. From small villages in India to the streets of New York, Facebook was everywhere. Mark had turned a college project into the most powerful social network in history. 11. Facebook's business model and data controversies. But Facebook wasn't just a social network. It was also a business. How did it make money? Advertisements. But not ordinary ads. Facebook used user data, likes, interests, location, and behavior to show targeted ads. This became a billion-dollar business. But it also raised serious questions about privacy, surveillance, and the power of tech companies to influence human behavior. 12. The Cambridge Analytica scandal. In 2018, a massive scandal broke. A company called Cambridge Analytica had used Facebook data, without proper permission, to influence voter behavior in political campaigns. It was reported that the data of over 87 million users had been harvested. Mark Zuckerberg was called to testify before the U.S. Congress. Millions watched as he sat, nervous but calm, answering tough questions about Facebook's power, privacy policies, and ethical responsibility. It was a turning point. The world saw that Facebook wasn't just a fun website. It was a global institution with real impact on democracy, mental health, and human life. 13. Personal life and family. Behind the scenes, Mark's personal life was growing too. In 2012, he married his longtime girlfriend, Priscilla Chan, a pediatrician. They met while standing in line for the bathroom at a Harvard party. Today, they have 2 daughters, and Mark says becoming a father gave him new purpose. Together, they started the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, pledging to donate 99% of their Facebook shares to improve healthcare, education, and equal opportunities for all. It's one of the most ambitious philanthropic promises in history. 14. Transformation into Meta. In 2021, Mark announced a huge change. Facebook was becoming Meta. Why? Because Mark believed that the future wasn't just on screens, but in a virtual world called the metaverse. In the metaverse, people can work, play, meet, and explore using virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR. He called it the next chapter of the internet. It was a bold move. Some loved it, others criticized it. But once again, Mark showed he was ready to take risks and lead into the unknown. 15. Criticisms and controversies. Of course, not everyone praises Mark Zuckerberg. Many criticize him for allowing fake news, hate speech, and privacy violations on Facebook. Some call him a monopolist, saying he buys or copies competitors to stay on top. Others say his focus on growth caused real harm. to society, to mental health, even to democracy. These are serious issues, but they're part of the responsibility that comes with power. And Mark, whether you agree with him or not, continues to face these challenges head-on. 16. Leadership style and personality. Mark is not your typical CEO. He wears simple gray t-shirts, walks around barefoot, and prefers coding over giving speeches. He's known to be introverted, intense, and obsessed with solving big problems. His leadership is focused, product-driven, and sometimes robotic, but always purposeful. He once said, "The question isn't, what do we want to know about people? It's, what do people want to tell about themselves?" His calm voice and sharp mind guide one of the most powerful tech companies in the world. 17. Comparison with other tech giants, Jobs, Gates, Musk. People often compare Zuckerberg to other tech legends, Steve Jobs, the artist-innovator Bill Gates, the software king and philanthropist Elon Musk. The risk-taking futurist Mark fits somewhere in between. He's not flashy like Jobs, not talkative like Musk, but he shares their ability to dream big, build fast, and never give up. He's the quiet disruptor, letting his work speak louder than words. 18. Lessons from Zuckerberg's journey. So what can you learn from Mark Zuckerberg? Start small, dream big, be obsessed with solving problems, don't wait for permission, accept criticism, but don't let it stop you. Never stop learning. Whether you're a student, a coder, or just someone with an idea, you can learn from his journey. Because Mark didn't wait for the world to change. He changed it himself. 19. Future vision, the metaverse, AI, and beyond. Mark Zuckerberg isn't done, not even close. He believes the future of the internet lies beyond the screen, in virtual worlds where we can walk, talk, work, and play in 3D. This is called the metaverse, and Meta is investing billions of dollars to make it real. But that's not all. Mark is also deeply invested in artificial intelligence, AI, using it to make communication safer, healthcare smarter, and education more accessible. He wants to build tools that help humans do more than ever before, without barriers of distance, disability, or language. In one interview, he said, "Our mission is to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together." His goals today are no longer about clicks or likes. They're about creating a digital future that feels human, meaningful, and connected. 20. From dorm room to world changer. Leave the viewer emotionally moved, hopeful, and ready to act. Let's go back to where it all started. A quiet 19-year-old in a small dorm room. One laptop, one vision, no money, no team, just an idea, and the courage to try. That boy was Mark Zuckerberg. Today, his idea touches over 3 billion people, from grandmothers in villages to presidents, teachers, students, and dreamers like you. He faced lawsuits, criticism, failure, betrayal, and global responsibility. But he never stopped. Not because he was the smartest, but because he believed in something bigger than himself. And if he could do it, so can you. Yes, you, listening to this. Maybe you're in a small town. Maybe your English isn't perfect. Maybe your idea seems silly. But big things often start with small, quiet steps. Start learning. Start building. Start dreaming. Because you never know. Your dorm room might just be the place where the next big thing begins. Don't wait. Create, connect, lead. The world is waiting for your story. For English learners. Practice. Tip. After watching this documentary, write down 3 things you learned from Mark Zuckerberg in your notebook. Speaking challenge. Try to say 1 paragraph of this video aloud every day. Improve your pronunciation and confidence. Creative task. Think of a problem in your school, town, or country. Now ask, what would Mark build to solve this? Subscribe to the channel for more documentaries like this, about real people who change the world. And remember, it's not about where you are today, it's about what you choose to become.